Hey guys, it's Darwin.
And Frozen.
And Starburst. And Hike Oregon.
And Second Chance.
And Bigfoot.
And Plug It In.
And today we're sharing some of our favorite Thru-Hiker gear hacks. Alright, so when you're out on the trail for long periods of time, like a thru hike or maybe a long section hike, there are little gear hacks and things that you do with your gear and your setup and your food that make your hike a little more efficient and make your day on the trail a little easier. Over the years, I've shared a ton of little hacks and things that I do to make my hikes a little more efficient, but today I brought in some of my hiker trash friends to give some of their favorite gear hacks. And before we hear from some of them, let me go over one of the hacks that I get questions about all the time, and I haven't really thought about it as a hack, but it's my water bottles. I get a ton of questions about my caps that I put on my water bottles. Now, instead of the standard screw top cap that comes on smart water bottles or Life Water or even these big Essentia bottles, I switch them out for these little flip top sport caps. Now, why do I do it? Well, number one, it's so I can grab my bottle really quick while I'm hiking, flip open the cap, take a drink, flip it back with one hand and put it back in there instead of fumbling around with the cap, possibly dropping it and losing it. But the other reason is actually because of a gear hack. So I typically carry something like the Sawyer Squeeze filter, and typically to be able to back flush this, you have to have this little syringe. It's a little plastic syringe that comes with these. Well, instead of using and carrying that syringe, I actually use a sport cap. So the end of it actually perfectly fits on there, and then I can back flush it while I'm out on the trail, keeping my filter clean and keeping it from clogging up as much. So it's me eliminating one piece of gear, maybe a little bit of weight, not really much weight, but it's just taking one thing and making it two things, which is multi-purpose and more efficient. And for everybody that always asks me where I get these, I just get them from the gas station. Sometimes these Life Water bottles or Smart Water bottles will have a version that comes with the cap. I'll pick one of those up, and when I'm done with the water, I'll just take the cap off and I'll save it for later. And sometimes I even find empty bottles in the trash, or sadly enough, on the side of the road or outside of a gas station. I'll steal them, I'll clean them, and I'll keep them for all of my bottles. All right, so if you guys remember a couple years ago, I made a video that was a DIY video showing you how to make a pot cozy and a little rehydration pack out of Reflectix material. Well, my buddy Frozen from over at Outdoor Adventures has taken it a little step further on his AT Thru hike this year.
Hey Darwin, there was definitely something that I did pretty much every day to make my thru hike go a little smoother. I'm the kind of guy that absolutely hates doing the dishes, whether it be at home or in the backcountry on a thru hike. So what I started doing was I started finding ways to not have so much to clean up in my pot every morning or lunch or dinner, whatever time it was. One of the things I did was I actually boiled water in here, and then I poured the water into my oatmeal packet, which I pretty much had almost every morning for breakfast, along with a couple other things on my thru hike. And if you notice, there's a little line, actually it's over this side, there's a little line right here that goes across the oatmeal packet. So what we do, we take the top off, and we'd pour boiling water right to that line on the oatmeal packet, and then I would put it in my reflective pot cozy and kind of let that heat up in the packet. Make sure you get your corners really well when you do that, or else you'll have big clumps of sugar at the bottom. It's really, really important that you get the corners. You can do this not only with just oatmeal, but I found it works great on instant mashed potatoes and the north sides that I was eating. So just that little bit, so you don't have to clean up this thing. There's already enough going on in the mornings where you don't really need to waste water and time on cooking in your pot. Just something that I do.
Nice, man. Well, when I'm out on the AT again next year, I'm probably gonna cook, so I'll definitely give that hack a try, because I hate cleaning my pot out at the end of the day. Speaking of food, if you guys remember on my PCT Thru hike last year, I lost my favorite long handle spork somewhere in Northern California. Well, when I lost it, I basically had to use a stick to eat for a couple of days till I could get a new spoon. Well, apparently I'm not the only one that's lost a spork somewhere in California. Yo, Second Chance, what gear hack do you have for us?
My hack is tent stakes. And So I lost 2 spoons on the trail, and I had no way to eat my dinner, and there's no way to get another spoon. So right here I have mashed potato, seaweed, and chicken. It's really good. It's actually a lot of fun to eat. So you just kind of take it, and you get a really good scoop. Very easy. It works almost just as good as a spoon or a spork. And I've also learned, since I broke a lot of tent stakes on the trail, different ones have different purposes. These are my chopsticks. Definitely really good. When you take a beef jerky and wrap it in seaweed, you just pick it up, eat it like trail sushi. So it's very, very good. In worst case, if you can't dig a cat hole, these can work pretty well too. So I hope that helps somebody in a bind when they're out in the wilderness and don't know what to do. Always improvise. Improvise, adapt, overcome. All right, bye everybody.
Dude, why didn't I think of that? Apparently Second Chance is much smarter than me, because obviously I was carrying tent stakes. So next time I lose a spork, which it'll probably happen, I'll definitely try that hack. Most thru-hikers will carry an external battery pack for charging their phones or their cameras or their GPSs during their hikes. But one drawback to carrying one of these on the trail is when you're at higher elevation and it's a lot colder, these can lose their charge in the middle of the night. The Whimsical Woman, or Starburst, has an excellent little gear hack to make this thing last a bit longer between charges.
One gear hack I learned while hiking the Pacific Crest Trail is to sleep with my rechargeable battery pack, because the cold will just completely drain it. So I got into the habit of just slipping that bad boy right into my sleeping bag, and then it would still be fully charged in the morning.
That's definitely a good one. You wouldn't believe how many times I woke up with a dead battery and then couldn't charge my stuff till I got to town. Now, speaking of sleeping bags and a gear hack that you can use with your sleeping bag or a quilt, one of the things that I've started doing over the past handful of years is, instead of having my separate quilt in my stuff sack and a clothes bag with all of my clothes in there, I actually eliminated my clothes bag and started putting my clothes inside the foot box to my quilt. That way I can use one stuff sack and everything is in one spot, so at the end of the day, when I get to camp, I can peel this out and I know that my clothes and all of my extra stuff is right there dry with my quilt. So it's a nice little gear hack that you can do just to eliminate an extra stuff sack. Plus, you're probably not going to use your extra clothes throughout the day anyways, so just throw them in your foot box, stuff them in one bag, and you'll be good to go. And speaking of the bag, I get questions about it all the time. I use the medium Z-Packs roll top DCF bag for my quilt because it's a little bit larger, so the clothes and the quilt will successfully fit in here without it being too bulky and blowing out. And apparently I'm not the only one that uses the Z-Pack stuff sack. Hike Oregon actually has an awesome gear hack for using this as well.
Hey Darwin, a great backpacking / gear hack that I use here in the Pacific Northwest is that I stuff my sleeping bag as soon as I get up. It is oftentimes really cold here in the morning and I never want to get out of bed. So to get myself going and to warm up, I make sure to stuff my sleeping bag. By the time I'm done wrestling the sleeping bag into its stuff sack, I am warmed up and ready to get the day going.
Nice. If you watch my videos, you'll see that I typically spend most of my morning inside of my quilt because I don't want to get cold. I eat breakfast, I pack up all my stuff, and then I usually get out of my quilt last. So I'll definitely give that a try next time I'm on a chilly hike. The next hack is one that I get questions about all the time, but I haven't quite mastered it like my buddy Bigfoot. So Bigfoot, what do you got for us, man?
Well, Darwin, I'm going to talk about how I pitch my duplex tent. Now, this is a two-part hack. This hack will work with virtually any tent that you use trekking poles to pitch. It can work with not just 2 trekking pole pitches, but also 1 trekking pole pitches like a Plexamid. So here's how it works. First, I pitch the 2 corner stakes on one of the sides of the duplex. It honestly doesn't matter which side, just pick a side. After you've done that, go back to the other side and pitch your storm door. Make sure that it's nice and taut. Go back to the side that you've already had the 2 corner stakes pitched, and you're going to pitch that storm door. And then I go back to the opposite side and pitch the remaining 2 corner stakes, and then lastly, the 2 wall stakes. I started doing this when I owned a duplex that didn't have the line locks. It made it a lot more difficult to do the Z-Packs style pitch. And once I started doing this, not only was I able to pitch the duplex faster, but once I did get the line locks on my duplex, I rarely have to make many adjustments. Now here's the second part of the hack. Instead of pitching the length of my trekking poles at 48 inches, which is what most people are pitching their duplex at, which is what Z-Packs will recommend as a starting point on their website, I pitch it about 5 centimeters higher, which is about just over 2 inches higher. Now this is largely dependent, of course, on the trekking poles that you are using. Some trekking poles only go up to 125 centimeters, some will go all the way up to 140 centimeters. Now 122 centimeters is just about the 48-inch pitch that I was talking about. So what I do is if I have a pair of trekking poles that do not extend over 125, I will extend it up to that 125 or just a hair past if I can. What this is going to do, it's going to pull up your bathtub floor and your ceiling. The height of your ceiling will go up a couple of inches and you will be able to sleep comfortably without the fear of your toe box touching the top of the ceiling. I started doing this years ago and I rarely ever have wet toe boxes anymore because of this. Now just one quick note, because you are pitching this higher, you are losing real estate on your bathtub floor. So if you are intending to have 2 people sleep in your duplex, this just might not work. That's what I got. Back to you, Darwin.
A true master of the trekking pole tent setup. Since I haven't mastered my Plexamid setup yet, I'll definitely give that setup a try next time I'm out on the trail. Thanks, man. All right, guys, the last hack of the video is one that I've gotten tons of questions about over the past 3 years, and I never really answered it because I had no experience choosing one. Now, you guys know that I'm a big advocate for leave no trace. I started carrying a trowel back in 2017, but there's always the debacle of toilet paper or shit tickets. Do you bury them? Do you carry them out? Well, Plug It In, I think, has tapped into a way to step your L&T game up. So what do you got for us, buddy?
Darwin, my hack isn't only going to lighten up your pack weight, make your hiking experience a little bit more enjoyable, but it's also better for your health and the environment. Last year, when I was planning out my AZT Thru hike, my good buddy Stick turned me on to the ideal of using a portable bidet. You know, at first I really wasn't sure about that, but now it was one of the best decisions I ever made when it comes to picking the gear I want to carry and the gear I want to leave at home. The Hygiena portable bidet weighs in only at 10 grams and packs away neatly in a small pouch or pocket. Using a portable bidet while in the backcountry has more benefits than just lighten up your pack weight or make the hike a little more enjoyable. There's huge benefits to not only your health, but to the environment around you. The Hygiena portable bidet pairs with most water bottles, such as Smart Water, Nestle, Dasani, and more. I also carry a small bottle of Dr. Bronner soap and a small light load towel to use as a dry towel. All this packs away into a small wallet size Z-Packs zip pouch. The whole kit weighs in just at 38 grams. By using a portable bidet while out in the backcountry, you're forced to wash your hands. People catch germs and get sick on hikes because they don't wash their hands after using the bathroom, and then they touch their eyes, mouth, or any other surfaces, therefore transferring the germs to everyone else. Another health benefit to using a bidet is you're also washing off all the salt deposits left behind from sweat. These deposits are instrumental in causing chafing. All right, so what are the pros? Pros, number 1, better for the environment. Number 2, better hygiene. Number 3, prevents chafing. Number 4, lighter weight. Let's talk about the cons. It's important, this is an important one, not to run out of water. That would be bad. You got to have water to make this whole thing work. Always try to make sure that I leave about ½ liter to ¼ liter in my bottle, just in case you have those moments that, well, they just can't wait. All right, Darwin, there you go, man. There's my hiker hack. Now, it may not be for everybody, but there's no question about it. It'd be better for your health and for the environment.
Right on, man. Well, I've been pretty on the fence over the last handful of years about using a backpacking bidet, but those are some pretty good pros and cons, so maybe I'll give one a try on my next thru hike. A huge thanks to all my Hiker Trash comrades that collaborated on this video. If you guys want to check out their channels, I'll leave links down below. Make sure you do. They all make a bunch of excellent informational videos about thru hiking. So, what gear hack do you have? What's something that you do to make your hike a little more efficient? Leave us something down below and let us know your thoughts. If you found any value in this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.